Alright. I broke up the good microphone for this because I was getting pissed that my audio from from the last video was pretty bad. So got a good microphone here. Alright, so how's it going, guys? Everyone was asking for like some gameplay videos. So yesterday I went out and filmed some videos. I was able to film 4 games. Well, like 3.5 games because my camera died on one of them. So today I have 2 games for you here. So I thought it'd be nice to go over them. We can watch them in real time, review the gameplay, review the decisions that I made, and kind of what was going on. So this first game here, I win the die roll. I'm against Akali. I think the Akali Draven matchup's like, you know, like 100-0 Draven. There's like some interesting stuff that Akali's allowed to do, but generally speaking, Akali has some fundamental flaws that Draven takes advantage of quite well. I don't think I really played any of these games particularly well, but that's alright. I think my opponent also has some like spicy deck decisions that were kind of interesting. So yeah. Basically going on, I missed my 2-drop as usual, which is fine. Mulligan 2, I mulliganed away Vex and Kai'Sa in this matchup. The assumption is that I'll be able to draw like a decent amount of cards, so like I don't need Kai'Sa. And Vex is like fine, but like not amazing. I really wanted to hit a 2-drop. Obviously didn't, but you know, it gets me 2 cards deeper, and I don't think Kai'Sa and Vex are like super valuable in this matchup. My opponent plays the Akali on his turn 1, and then on turn 2, I play Up in the Deep and I hold up Gust. So there's like some interesting things with like the gusting on this turn. So the main idea was the next turn I probably want to be playing Ferris Foreigner. There's like a really good chance that I won't play Ferris Foreigner. So I was thinking next turn I can walk onto Starspring, Ferris Foreigner, and just like play it back. On this turn, I'm like thinking about it, and the Ferris Foreigner game plan here is like not super great. He gets like a bunch of draws. He like can get a bunch of draws off Akali if he off Stellar Coin if he wants to. And here I have like a really good falling star to 100% buy the Zhonya's if there is one underneath there, and then also like kill one of the units, right? So it's like a 2-for-1, nice and clean, and then I can double conquer because Zhonya's forces the units off regardless if you want to save the Stellar Coin or the Akali. And double conquer with the tentacles go up to 2, and then just develop might in base. So at this point, I'm thinking about playing. If I'm supposed to play double hopeful or if I'm supposed to play hunter, treasure hunter hopeful, and I choose to actually play the treasure hunter and not the hopeful, which is like feels like a really strange decision to make, because like obviously you like want to generate money. So there's like a couple things here. First of all, I don't expect my opponent to commit onto both battlefields, so I don't need this might right away. Secondly, the thing with Akali is she generally runs like a decent amount of removal, so I want to be able to have a body that I'm willing to throw away, like a more disposable body. The 4 might on hopeful is like very relevant, so I want to be able to utilize the 4 might from my next hopeful better. Because in this situation here, the 8 might from like the 2 hopefuls might not be necessary, I guess. So here I hold to 3, and I assume that this is second Zhonya's. So I'm gonna run 5 might onto here to try and get the Zhonya's. If the hopeful dies, it's like fine. The hunter lives, I get to draw a card. And I buy the Zhonya's, stuff like that, right? I get my draw, and then my opponent reveals Resonating Strike, which is hilarious. Resonating Strike is like absolutely hilarious. So he gets the +2, so it's the first Stellar Coin's at 4, and the second Stellar Coin's at 5. So based on the hand that I currently have, if I developed double hopeful last turn, it would have been really bad. So double hopeful last turn, I would have ran 8 might onto 9, and then I would have basically not done anything. And like now I have the golds that the treasure hunter gets, so kind of the baseline is a little bit better. Now I have hopeful for the next turn to be able to develop a little bit more might. Whereas, you know, if I developed it previously, my hand right now would be Treasure Hunter Rek'Sai, which is like completely worthless. But Hopeful Rek'Sai is like actually not that bad. Next turn I have some reasonable plays, reasonable like development plays. I can flow up in the deep and play Hopeful, or I can play Draven. There's like all kind of reasonable plays. I just need to kind of figure out what I want to do based on what my opponent's doing. So he's getting a bunch of value from Stalacron right now. The plan right now is to just double conquer, go up to 5 points. I'm going to try to 5-7-8 at this point. So he's at 3 points, I'm at 3 points. As long as my opponent doesn't score to 4 here, I'm like a very comfortable position. Because one of the fundamental issues with Akali is that she's really good at breaking battlefields, and she's really bad at holding battlefields. This means that if she's like behind on point tempo, it's really hard for her to come back into the game and like play the game. Like she's really bad at playing the game when she's behind. So right now, even though my board state like looks like complete garbage, it's fine because I'm ahead on points. So I'm scoring up to 5 on this turn. My opponent's at 3. This means that I'm going to win 1 turn before he does, because I'm going to go up to 5. He's going to go up to 5 on his turn, presumably. And then I can go up to 7, and I can go to 8. So here I just want to, you know, develop more bodies, and I'm like letting my Forerunner die. Letting my Forerunner die, like obviously the like super obvious play here is like Yasuo walk on, kill the Forerunner, and then like Stalacron walk on, draw the card, and then like kill the Tentacle. It's like fine. I don't care that much because next turn I'm going to have 5 might from Zed, 4 might from the Hopeful, an additional 6 might from the 2 mechs. So that is 15 might. Is like really difficult for Akali to get over that amount of might. I also have Rek'Sai in hand if I need to, and then I have I'm untapping to 9. So if I really needed to, I could play the Rek'Sai like taps unaccelerated, and I can accelerate the Draven as well, which is fine. It's fine. I have a gold, so it pays for one of the power costs on the Draven accelerate. So it's like not that big of a deal. I do expect that I'm going to be able to get over this in some capacity. So yeah, I'm not super worried in this position. So my opponent does kind of the expected play, and then develops Mask and Mournful Witness. So this is like developing like 4 might essentially, like the 2 might from the Mask that is probably going to trigger this turn, and then 2 might from the Mournful Witness. So here I'm like a really comfortable position. I'm just thinking now basically how I want to like allocate my my bodies. He has 3 runes up, so worst case, like absolute worst case is like on guard, obviously, but like realistically it's like Discipline on guard probably. And I currently have the awareness that his bodies are worth more than my bodies. The nice thing about Draven is like I'm sitting here, I have Draven in the champ zone, I have a stack deck, and I have Rek'Sai in hand, so I'm able to like realistically generate like about 14 might going into the next turn by playing Draven Rek'Sai as like a baseline. I walk the 7 into the 5 of the Stalacron because I'm like willing to evenly trade into this Stalacron here. He plays the Discipline, which is fine. So he goes to 7-7, and so I play my stack deck. And what am I looking for the stack deck? Spinning Axe would be nice. I would be able to eat the Stalacron and then draw a card, which would be nice. And then on the top, I see a Darius as well. So now I need to make the decision of, okay, do I want to play Darius, or do I want the Darius, or do I want the Spinning Axe? Spinning Axe is like obviously good here, and I don't think there's like a great decision on like which is better and which is worse. Realistically, the Axe might have been better. Like hindsight, the Axe was like probably better. Because the Axe unit probably dies, right? Like I Axe like the mech or the Hopeful, the Stalacron like trades into it, and then I can re-equip it onto Zed, and then like walk Zed plus mech into the. Sorry, I equip it onto the mech, and then walk mech plus Zed into the Yasuo. But here I think it's like fine. I still have 3 mana up, which is nice. So I'm able to walk into the Yasuo, score to 6, draw a card, and then develop Rek'Sai base. I'm like completely tapped out, but that's fine. Because I can accelerate my Draven next turn to be able to generate 10 accelerated might out of my champ zone, assuming the Rek'Sai doesn't die.
So how's it work? When I conquer.
So my opponent's deciding whether or not he wants to kill. Darius was Zed here. Kills the Zed, so he doesn't get the unconquered trigger. I score to 6. I draw a card. I draw Vex. Vex doesn't really do anything here. It's fine. I just develop the Rek'Sai, walk into Void Gate, go to 7. And so I'm kind of in like a decent position here. So assuming Rek'Sai untapped. So first of all, I'm forcing my opponent to double conquer here because he needs to hold both. And then next turn, I can threaten the double conquer with Rek'Sai Draven. In order for me to lose this game, I need both battlefields need to die, and my Rek'Sai needs to die, and I need to not draw anything accelerated off the top of my deck. It's actually kind of possible for me to lose here. I think I did misplay last turn. I think I was supposed to take the axe. I just wanted to like generate more might, but realistically, I think I wasn't supposed to generate more might, and I think I was supposed to just take the axe. Axe gives me another draw. Because I win the combat on the Starcoin battlefield. And here, like Akali actually, again, is good at conquering, good at attacking. So he walks in here, empowers the Mournful, and then gets like the mask triggers, and then Shuriken flips onto the other battlefield and kills Darius. And it's really, really bad for him. I'm like low-key dead. My hand like really, really sucks. My hand is like complete dog shit. So I need to figure out a way for my top deck to bail me out. On the bright side, there's a ton of top decks that I can have that bail me out of the situation. Rebuke gets me there. Spinning Axe, like some numbers of Spinning Axe gets me there. Darius gets me there. So there's like actually a ton of cards I can get off the top, and I get 3 draws on my next turn. So I have to draw for turn. Assuming my Rek'Sai untaps, I'm going to Stellar Draven, walk him onto a point, and then he's going to win a combat, and I'm at 7. So I'm going to get 3 draws. So I draw the Spinning Axe here. I'm like very happy about drawing Spinning Axe here. This means that my Rek'Sai is going to be able to attack as an 8, which is like quite good. It eats into a lot of stuff, and I can also protect the Draven walking in. I walk the Draven onto Void Gate because. Sorry, I walked Draven onto Void Gates because I'm like worried about walking the Rek'Sai here. The Rek'Sai like dies to a lot of things, and I can protect it with the Spinning Axe. There's like an argument that I was supposed to walk onto the Mournful Witness instead, but like realistically, it's like the same thing. Either way, because both are 4 might units. So my opponent doesn't play anything. I get 2 draws because I'm at 7, and I win combat. My hand is fucking Falling Star Axe. It's really good. So the 2 options here I have here like walk in Rek'Sai, axe. So that puts me at 10 might. Theoretically, my opponent could have like on guard, or something like that, which would be really bad. And so right now, I decide, okay, I'm gonna play Falling Star. This Mournful is at 4. I don't let it get the buffs from Mask of Foresight.
5 untapped. I'll do 2.
And then if my opponent buffs it up, I can walk the Rek'Sai on and trade into it at worst case. Worst case is I trade onto this. If the Mournful Witness does not die here, something like on guard, to get it to 8 might marked for 6, and then I can walk Rek'Sai on. Rek'Sai's a 4, and then the Mournful Witness is a 4 on defense, or like 4 health on defense because of the double mask. And then the Rek'Sai trades into it, and then I can axe the Draven on defense to hold as like the secondary win condition here from this point. Obviously, my top decks were very good there. I do think I made some mistakes there. But yeah, so going into sideboard, so you might see the against the odds. The against the odds wasn't in the sideboard in the last in the deck tech that I went through a couple days ago. But I wanted to test it because the problem matchups were Kennen, Rek'Sai, and Rengar were like the main matchups that I was worried about. I think against the odds is like kind of reasonable into all of this. So here, what am I looking at? So I take the Forerunner because it's the best card because my opponent is not purple. Take the Gust. Gust is nice into these decks because it like purchases buffs, like purchases On Guard, purchases Discipline, or purchases the Defy. I take the Forerunner. I take the Boots because Boots is really good, and then I need to decide on gear removal. There's some amount of gear in my opponent's deck. which is the masks and seals that he showed me in the last game. I do want a way to get rid of these because masks are very, very good. It helps patch up Akali's defense because you get to basically be Master E on defense if you have 2 masks out. So I want to have a way to remove it. So I decide, okay, do I want Thermal Beam or do I want Brittle Steel? I decide to go for Thermal Beam because I will likely need to be removing multiple pieces of equipment because like any individual gear isn't like super relevant. If it's 1 mask, it's like not that bad. It's not that bad. So instead, I can just play Thermal Beam, remove 2 masks, and then incidentally remove some amount of seals that are in his deck. My opening hand here is Forerunner, Stack Deck, Axe, and Up from the Deep. It's like really good. So right now I know that I'm playing Up from the Deep turn 1. Like it's just automatically gonna happen. So I'm like very happy about this. I instantly get the switcheroo, which is nice as well because now I can just walk on and like switcheroo things. If I want to like really win the combat, like I can hard cast the switcheroo on attack if I need to. Ideally I don't want to because I don't have a treasure hunter, so it's like super expensive. But it's fine. I have axe as well, which is nice. I just like the main game plan is like try to keep my opponent at bay. And then just develop the Forerunner and just try to leverage the body from Forerunner to do as much as like leverage the 12 might as best as I can. My opponent walks on Targon, so again, Targon's is something I talked about in the previous video. My going second battlefield went from Treasure Hoard to Targon's Peak, so I wanted to test it out. My opponent plays Recurve Bow, which is crazy because it actually kind of kills me. I can't walk a Tentacle on and then switcheroo it. I need to walk 2 tentacles on and then switcheroo, which is like kind of crazy. So here I'm at 5 energy. There's like not a ton for me to do. So the ideas are I can stack deck and look for a Hopeful. Hopeful is like the most amount of might that I can generate right now, especially with the 4 mana up that I would be after the stack deck. Because I can Hopeful Tide Turner, or I can Hopeful hold up 2 energy for switcheroo / Spinning Axe. Or I can just develop Tide Turner and 10. Number of bodies is like reasonably important in this matchup because Akali's really good at attacking in. So you need to put disposable bodies onto the battlefields, and then like punish her from walking onto the battlefields by killing her on the swing back, basically. So you want to lure Akali onto the battlefields using disposable bodies, and then punish her from investing bodies, like her more important bodies, onto the points by like swinging in afterwards, basically. So here I want to flow the Up from the Deep and play Tide Turner just to develop disposable bodies so that I can punish Akali later into the game using that. So here I do that. I develop my Up from the Deep and I develop my Tide Turners, and now I need to figure out, do I want to hide this switcheroo or not? My opponent has Hopeful in base, and most likely what's going to happen is he's going to walk Hopeful onto here and eat my time. Very baseline. Any like a first grader could see that line, right? So I need to decide, do I want to hide the switcheroo? What are the problems with this play, potentially? If he plays Shuriken Flip onto this Tentacle, I die. The switcheroo gets eaten, and then the Tentacle gets eaten, and there's nothing for me to do. I just die. So I decide not to hide it. I want to be able to leverage my energy advantage. My opponent recycled the rune last turn to attach the Spinning Axe. So I want to try to keep my rune economy as reasonable as possible in order to like leverage the additional energy that I have every turn to be able to develop more might for Akali to kind of struggle against. So my opponent walks in and eats it and is thinking about whether or not he's supposed to move the Mournfulness back to base. So at this point, I'm mostly just licking my lips thinking about, man, I really want to develop my first Forerunner next turn. There's some good value to be gained from playing Forerunner. So my opponent plays Mask, and he's thinking about playing Akali right now. I can tell from the glint in his eyes that he wants to play Akali. He passes without playing Akali, so here I'm thinking he has 3 energy unspent. The best way to punish this, best way to leverage this, is to not try to push my tempo and instead develop as much might as I can effectively. I walked in Targons, scored a 2. Scoring to 3 is not relevant. I expect myself to be able to 2, 4, 6, 8 hit from this point. So that means that going to Going to 3 is not important, not more important than going to 2. So I might as well go to 2 and just develop might and just not do anything crazy and just pass 2. Developing the Forerunner here is like maybe a mistake, maybe not a mistake. I'm not 100% sure. He's on amateur recital, so like he's going to push the Forerunner back. I think putting the Forerunner onto that battlefield is fine because it essentially forces him to push the Forerunner back. If I were to develop the Forerunner onto the battlefield, if I hit a card there, like if I hit the switcheroo there, the tentacle could get pushed back and then the switcheroo would die. So leaving the Forerunner on there forces him to push back the Forerunner, and then my switcheroo actually could theoretically get value. I did make a mistake. So he has the recurve bow. So he like walks in, and the Mournful Witness is a 2. So if I switcheroo in response to the attack trigger, my unit still dies.
Are you doing mass
So
first or
here
first?
I ask him, does he want to do his mask trigger to resolve first or his attack trigger to resolve?
Mass first?
My opponent says mask trigger, so I'm like, okay, sweet, I'll switcheroo. So now I'm at 3 and his opponent's at 1, and I'm marked for 2 damage. So right now it would be a trade, which is like kind of hilarious. I was like trolling hiding the switcheroo was like, I think objectively the wrong play. I think I'm just supposed to just chill, like develop Forerunner onto Targon's Peak and just hang out, like not hide the switcheroo. I think switcheroo has a lot more value just like hard casting it in this game specifically because I will end up with a lot more runes. Like next turn I would be untapping to 8 runes, which is a good amount, enough to be able to hard cast switcheroo and not feel completely horrific about it. In this case, I do kind of get bailed out by my opponent choosing to play the mask trigger first before the attack trigger from recurve. He then Void Seekers the Tentacle, which is fine. I just stack deck in the Showdown to see if there's anything that I really want to pull. So here I see the Boots and the Darius and the Evelyn. Here it's like just a decision between Darius and Boots. Boots is really good when you hold onto a battlefield. I don't really expect myself to be holding in this deck. Darius is really good for punishing Akali when she walks onto the point, which she has at this point. So Darius just does a better job at that. If I wanted to hold onto battlefield really bad, I would take the Boots and just like full stack battlefield and just like gank onto the next turn. But currently the plan is just 2, 4, 6, 8 the Akali at this point. So my Akali opponent develops Stellarcoin 2 base, and then I believe he just passes on this.
This is a really good reason to not. Because now I'm talking about
Just kidding. I'm a liar. He doesn't. So he walks the hobo back, and then I get another turn to kind of just develop. I top deck the Rebuke here. Rebuke is a fantastic card here. These green-red decks, or like these green decks, are not running not so fast currently. In like this meta, like very, very not often you'll see these not so fasts. So Rebuke is like perfect card. I decide that I want to kill this Mournful Witness. I'm supposed to axe here. I'm like 100% sure I'm supposed to axe here. I think I made a mistake not axing here, and it makes the rest of my turn really, really, really awkward. I only have 7 mana, so I can't like develop 2 good units here. Like what I would really want to do is conquer on one point, conquer the other point, spend all my mana developing, and then get my untapped Targons to be able to hold up Rebuke or Spinning Axe for the following turn. Obviously, I would in this situation I would Spinning Axe onto the Forerunner, so I would hold up Rebuke for the following turn. I think I was supposed to axe the Forerunner on Targon's Peak, and then I would be left with 5 mana, and then just develop Draven in base, and then walk onto Amateur Recital, be at 4 points, and be in a really comfortable position. Here, I'm just going up to 4, and then developing a unit in base,
I think I made a mistake.
and it leaves me really vulnerable to some removal. Like if he like Falling Stars me, Falling Stars the 2 mechs, it's like pretty bad for me.
I'll play Draven in base.
If I have like this 9 might Forerunner onto the battlefield with what he's currently presenting on board, it's like really awkward for him to get over it. He can theoretically run stuff onto it, but it's like really, really bad for him if he runs stuff onto it. He can like Yasuo sure can flip onto it, but I actually don't really care if Yasuo sure can flips because the Yasuo just dies the next turn. So I was like definitely supposed to Forerunner in that, or Axe the Forerunner in that situation. There's like some awkward scenarios where he had 2 mana up, I think, so he would be able to like theoretically discipline or something to trade into the Forerunner, but then I like eat the discipline. I still get to I can play Draven and then have the same situation, but the Draven has an axe on it, and I can still hold the 2 mana up. My opponent walks the Stelicorn in here, and you'll notice that he's like never using his legend ability, which is correct. You're not supposed to let Draven get the extra cards, like just give him extra cards for free. So I just die, and then make sure I have enough runes to leverage my hand. So my hand is extremely expensive right now. So I've Darius, which recycles runes, Rebuke, which recycles a bunch of runes, and Axe, which recycles a bunch of runes. The earlier I use these, the less energy I have for the following turn. So right now I'm untapping to 8. If I were to Rebuke right now, I would be untapping to 6, which is like not enough to like Darius plus do anything. So I really want to have the option to Darius do something next turn. So yeah, I just need to figure out how I want to do this. So my opponent now is basically setting up the end of his turn with the Yasuo in base to presumably my opponent's at 7 points, so presumably he wants to do some Yasuo sure conflict nonsense the following turn. So I'm at 4 points right now. The goal is to again 6-8 him from this position. So how do I want to do this? So the Stelicorn is going to go up to 4 might. He's discipline, or like he could he's representing discipline or double on guard. So I need to respect it as 6 might, essentially. Essentially respect it as 6 might. And I'm like kind of okay with that. So I'm gonna run the 2 max into the Stelicorn here. As much as I want to walk the Draven onto the Hopeful, it's like a little bit awkward here, because Hopeful is going to go up to a 5 and then shoot me for 2. So my Draven's currently a 7, so that trades. So if I can conquer onto this other point, it makes his defense on Amateur Recital really awkward. So I need to make sure I kill the Stelicorn first. As much as and if I were to walk a different subset of units onto the Noxus Hopeful, the Hopeful will probably eat them. So my best bet of efficiently clearing both battlefields is to get Draven to a point in which he can walk onto Amateur Recital and eat the unit there, essentially. So I am able to, draw score, get my Draven up to an 9, an 8, an 8. So he takes 2 damage, goes down to 6 health, and my opponent has a 5 might Hopeful onto here. He has 2 energy up, so if he disciplines here, I can Axe. If he like on guards, I can Axe or I can Rebuke, depending on how I want to do this. And he ends up playing Resonating Strike again, which is hilarious. Resonating Strike is a bad card. Don't play this card. He gets the draw from the Stelicorn, and then the Stelicorn goes up to 6. So I'm holding Rebuke in hand as much as I want to Rebuke this Hopeful, because I would like to kill the Stelicorn. Stelicorn's at 6, so Stelicorn will actually kill the Draven here. So I'm kind of forced to Rebuke the Stelicorn here to be able to actually eat over the Hopeful. And it's like not that bad. I have like a lot of runes available, so next turn I'm able to hold second Rebuke plus Axe up for whatever he wants to do,
It's gonna be on Stelicorn.
So Stelicorn goes back to hand, and then I'm able to eat the Hopeful, score up to 6, and then draw my card.
Alright. Yep. Conquer 6.
And my top is Falling
Jump
Star.
combat.
I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow,
Well, that's
this is
kinda
disgusting. So I'm with Falling Star, Falling Star to Yasuo, and he has no runes up, so this Yasuo's just dead. Now, his hand sucks. His hand is Stelicorn plus 2 random cards. Like, I don't even know what he's supposed to do. So here, I developed the Rek'Sai. I think, like, theoretically, I'm supposed to just play the up
You are
from the
probably
D
Probably.
here, but it's, like, kind of fine. He reveals 3 Stelicorns in his hand, so I just win the game. Alright, so that's game 1, or set 1. It was against the Akali. Now, I'm playing against Rengar. Some people had asked me about this matchup, especially how I'm supposed to play this matchup. You might notice there's different camera angles. So I do want you guys to let me know which camera angle you guys prefer. The one from like the POV is harder for me to film. It's like a little bit more annoying for me to film, but is like obviously better because you can hear me a little bit better, even though I've been yapping this entire time. And I need to like wear a hat and stuff, so it's like kind of annoying for me. So I get it, but here I just have a tripod. I win the die roll, Star Spring. My opponent is playing the Prismat list. He plays Fey Folk turn 1. I lose the game. I lose the game. Yeah, I'm just dead. So what can I do here? My hand is Rebuke, Hopeful, Evelyn, and Darius. I just need to make sure I'm not recycling too many runes, and that's the only way I can win this game. Is to like make sure that I'm not recycling too many runes, because I need to just be able to like develop might without just fist fighting him, essentially. What I'm doing here is I'm like pretty certain I'm supposed to play Evelyn and Hopeful here, and I'm not supposed to hold up Rebuke. If I hold up Rebuke here, Rebuke loses to a lot of things. Rebuke loses to like most cards in the Rengar list. So I just bounce the Evelyn back and then Hopeful to base. The reason I do this is because walking the Fey Folk into a battlefield and then ambushing on top, if you walk Fey Folk onto the Evelyn battlefield, pulling the Hopeful and then playing an ambush on top, it can be really sketchy because the unit that you play can die. 6 might is more than what Rengar is able to generate off one ambush unit, unless he plays exactly Rengar. He plays Rengar, that's his entire turn, and I can punish the Rengar on my following turn, theoretically with like a Darius Cleave or something like that. Or Darius 2-drop or something like that. I'm at 6 runes. Darius Cleave. Or Darius Gust. Because of that, I should be able to hold if I play Evelyn, because he wants to drag me to the other battlefield with most of his ambush units. Basically all of his ambush units, aka yeah, my opponent Nidalee hides a card. I'm already dead. I already know I'm already dead. This deck is just so hard, especially Fey Folk Nidalee opener. I just die. Fey Folk Nidalee opener, I just die most of the time. And I draw a Treasure Hunter, so I hate my life, and that's fine. So here, I need to decide how I want to navigate this turn because everything sucks. Everything sucks. Am I supposed to, like, I want to develop a unit with might here, so I can't develop Treasure Hunter. I should be developing Kaisa or Darius in this situation. So the question is, am I supposed to hold up Rebuke? Here. If I play Draven, I can't hold up, or if I play Darius, I can't hold up Rebuke. If I play Kaisa, I can hold up Rebuke. I can also theoretically play Kaisa Treasure Hunter, and just like assume the Kaisa's gonna die, because let's be so for real, this Draven's gonna this Kaisa's gonna die. Like there's so few things that I can do to prevent this Kaisa from dying. This is what we refer in the business to being in the blender. So I'm just like dead to every card in this deck, essentially. It's super hard for me to navigate this situation here. Even though my opponent's really low on runes, it doesn't really matter. Not a ton that I can do here. Reveals Pocket Cup, gives Nidalee the +1 Star Spring, move Nidalee back to base. Move Nidalee onto the battlefield. Drawing a card from Nidalee, winning the combat, drawing a card from Nidalee. And then he's going to walk the Fey Folk on and eat the Kaisa. Okay, so what am I supposed to do here? Am I supposed to rebuke this Nidalee? Everything sucks. Everything sucks. The play pattern here is really obvious. If I let this Nidalee eat the Treasure Hunter and then he walks Fey Folk on, I can't rebuke him. If I rebuke the Nidalee, he replays the Nidalee and I die. So I might as well just pray that he's nothing on there. At least I can draw a card if this rebuke goes through. Instead, he ambushes Grim Apothecary on and Star Springs the Nidalee back to base. And then I just lose. I'm just dead. Just dead. The Fey Folk goes up to, gives the Apothecary up to 5, and then Fey Folk walk in, kill the Kaisa. So now I'm just dead. I'm like, I've been dead, and now I'm like giga dead. I like, at minimum, draw the Spinning Axe here, which is like fine, I guess. It's like fine, I guess. I can Evelyn walk on, eat one of these units. I might as well eat the Grim Apothecary. There's like a world where it's like better than the Pocket Cup. If he thrills it, he gets more value out of the thrill. So I go on here and I eat the Pocket Cub and I hate my life. What can I even do here? There's not a ton for me to do here. I'm dead. I'm giga dead. Right now I'm just going through the motions because I'm giga dead. My opponent's at 5 right now, so he's gonna 7-8 me in 2 turns. And there's not a ton that I can do to stop him. He's drawn like infinite cards already because he has. Like, I don't even know what to say. The Nidalees have drawn a bunch of cards, and the Nidalees are gonna draw more cards, and it's just the way the world works. So I'm gonna Treasure Hunter. So he has 1 Fey Folk on base. 1 Fey Folk means that I will be able to untap with 1 unit most of the time. So I can keep the Kaisa and Evelyn in base. Next turn, I will be able to play the game with my Kaisa or my Evelyn. I only have 1 card in hand right now, which is a Darius. But I can guarantee accelerate Darius next turn because I've Draven. I'm untapping a 10. I've Draven the champ zone, so I'm like guaranteed to be able to play the Darius. So now I need to figure out what the hell am I even doing here. He pulls the Kaisa to prevent me from drawing cards because I only have 1 card in my hand. And then he uses second Italy, and I'm like giga depressed here. Drawing 2 cards from the Nidalees. And I'm just dead. Like, what am I even supposed to do here? He sabos me because he wants to know what my last card is. And I show him the Darius. It doesn't really matter. Alright, so what's my next turn supposed to look like? What do I get off the top? Does the thing I get off the top matter at all? I only have 1 thing in hand. It's a Gust. This Gust is completely unplayable. There are zero units on the board in which this card is playable at all, which sucks horribly. Alright, so am I supposed to walk Evelyn onto Starspring and just like develop? Like, and play Darius or play Draven to base or something like that? That sucks. So I think I'm supposed to, like, I don't want to give him cards. Am I supposed to, I can Draven Darius, and then walk Draven plus Evelyn, or Darius plus Evelyn onto the Nidalee point to draw a card, and then the Evelyn stays alive because of the back line for sure. And then I have Evelyn on the board and Draven in base. The problem with doing that is Evelyn's gonna die next turn because he's gonna Fey Folk, walk Fey, not Fey Folk. He's gonna Rengar onto the Evelyn to eat the Evelyn, and then he's gonna walk the Fey Folk on to the Rengar and pull the Draven into the Rengar, and then I die. So I can't take the Darius Draven walk Darius plus Evelyn into the Nidalees to eat them and draw a card. There's basically 0 world in which I'm able to escape from that situation. So I run the Evelyn into the Nidalees, let him draw a card, play the Darius, and then play the Draven because the Gust is unplayable. And then it readies the Darius, and I need to figure out where this axe is supposed to go. I was like instinctively putting the axe onto the Darius, but Darius is like basically dead on board. Darius is dead. He's gonna walk into this point, he's gonna score me a point, and he's fucking dead. This Fey Folk just kills everything, and Rengar at the minimum is able to kill everything as well. So like, I might as well axe the Draven here. I can like theoretically maybe play the game. Score to 4, draw my card. It's something that doesn't matter. I don't even know what it is. Oh, it's Evelyn. It's an Evelyn. There's like a world here where he like Rengars me right away, and then I can Evelyn to like flash the Darius back to base, and it's like relatively hard for him to get over it. and is like kind of the only options that I have, right? Like I don't really have any options here. I'm just getting put into the fucking blender. He walks 3 units on and pulls the Darius. I flip Evelyn here. There's not really a reason for me to do anything else. Star Spring moved Darius back to base, and then Darius fucking walks onto the Star Spring anyways. I kill the Pocket Club. I think the Fey Folk is supposed to die as well, but it actually does not matter what happens to this Fey Folk at this point. I'm already just dead. I'm just Giga dead. This is like one of the weaknesses with the Draven deck that I've constructed is like without access to something like Ride the Winds, it's really hard for me to like claw back from like losing positions. Like for example, if the last card in my hand here is Ride the Winds, I can like kind of play the game. My opponent's at 7, so if I walk on Ride the Winds to the other battlefield, I scored a 6, draw 2 cards, and I like kind of play the game. I can kind of play the game. Without access to something like that, it's really difficult for me to fucking do anything in this position. It really sucks. My opponent's mostly just going through the motions here, making sure he doesn't just lose to some random nonsense. And there aren't a ton of outs for me here. Not a ton of outs for me here. I'm looking at the board state. I think the only thing, like right now, the only thing that even keeps me remotely in this game is Falling Star. I walk the Draven on to eat the 2 units. Killing the Fey Folk matters even though it's supposed to be dead. I can score up to 5, draw a card. I can gust the Initiate if I need to stop me from losing this game. I draw the Falling Star. And I'm like, man, I hate that I just got some hope because I'm like 100% dead right now. So what can I even do in this position that matters at all? I don't think anything I do here matters. So I Falling Star the Initiates because that's the only way to stop him from winning at this very moment. But it like doesn't really matter. I still lose to most cards. I hide the Tide Turner because I might as well put 2 additional might onto the board. Like it doesn't really matter. And I pass the turn, and then I lose to most things here. There's one thing that I think I'm supposed to do here, which is Gust the Inferno when it walks on. I let him score to draw the card. It doesn't really matter. The problem with gusting is I'm praying that the gust does literally anything on this attack here. Like when he attacks into me here. Say he like runs Hopeful plus Inferna, pumping the same Inferna with both triggers. And then I can gust the 1 Inferno that is targeted. Then he's attacking with me 7 or something like that, right? This is the only way I can theoretically win this game. Instead, he just rampages. He punch for his rampages, and I just die. That's how it be. That's how it be sometimes. So I just die. Lots of people were wondering, you know, don't you just lose on the double Star Spring game if your opponent opens Fey Folk? Yes. The answer is yes. There's not a lot you can do. You just fucking die. Alright, what can I sideboard here? Okay, Against the Odds is something that I'm trying for the Rengar matchup. Ferris Foreigner and Boots of Swiftness go in as well, I believe. And what are some cards that I can take out here? Okay, so Starcross kind of sucks. Starcross is like kind of okay. It like mostly sucks. The Blood Rushes kind of suck because my opponent doesn't really commit to holds very much. Most of it is just me walking in and dying. If Fey Folk is pulling you in, you're the defender and not the attacker. So it doesn't matter. And then Gust kind of sucks because most of units have ambush anyways, so he just fucking replays them. So everything kind of sucks. So what am I even cutting here? I cut Blood Rushes and then the Gust. I think I keep 1 Blood Rush just in case. There's like a world in which Blood Rush actually matters. I'm thinking about whether or not I'm supposed to cut it. I end up cutting both. Lol. And then what goes in is Boost of Swiftness, Fairest Foreigner, and Against the Odds. And I'm just praying that these do anything at all, which they theoretically could. They theoretically could. Alright, so, game 2 time. I see, I'm going first. See Treasure Hunter. Treasure Hunter's pretty good. I want some way to assist me in holding these battlefields. The up from the deep doesn't really matter that much, so I just spin one Kaisa and the up from the deep to try and hit anything that matters. So I hit an Axe, which is actually pretty good. Axe is kind of nice here. I have Treasure Hunter in hand, so I'm like 100% playing the Treasure Hunter, and just pass it. So I would like to get onto Grove if I can. There's not like a ton for me to do here. He plays Fey Folk, which fuck my life. It's fine, I guess. I draw another Treasure Hunter, so my assumption here is that like I'm gonna be able to walk Treasure Hunter onto a point, onto Grove, develop Treasure Hunter in base, and just like pray that I don't just get fucking eaten by like every card in his entire deck. Let's go to 1. I don't really want to put both Treasure Hunters onto Grove because it like risks getting blown out by fucking every card in his entire deck. So I instead just develop to base, and I hold up Against the Odds / Spinning Axe if I want to. So there's a couple tricks in my hand that like don't. They're like kind of useful situationally, but aren't doing like a ton in this situation. So my opponent ends up playing a Pig Rookie and buffing the Fey Folk, and then also giving the Pride Stalker trigger +1 to the Fey Folk as well. He walks in and pulls the Treasure Hunter into the Grove. I get to make a gold, yippee. I hate my life, because it's 3-2. Why is this Fey Folk at 3? I hate that this Fey Folk is at 3. Why the hell is this Fey Folk at 3? Alright, so I need to figure out now. How do I do anything here without just dying? I lose to most cards. If he plays Nidalee, Nidalee is a 5. My Treasure Hunters are a 2, combined, and Nidalee is a 5. So if I Axe here, I can eat the Nidalee when he plays the Nidalee, and then the Fey Folk lives, and I can still kind of play the game next turn. If he Punch Firsts, the Axe and the Against the Odds are exactly the same, and if he has Grim Apothecary in his hand, the Axe and the Against the Odds are like basically the same. He's probably gonna play Apothecary and not return the Fey Folk to the hand. So it doesn't really matter that it's 4-4 because I'm gonna kill the Fey Folk and not the Apothecary if he plays Apothecary here. So in the interest of not recycling runes, I play the Against the Odds just to basically purchase the cards in his hand. What this does is, into Punch First, it is the same result. Into Grim Apothecary, it's the same result. And into Nidalee, I can at minimum still kill the Fey Folk. Sure. And what this does is instead, I don't have to recycle the rune. And I get to keep the Axe in my hand. Next turn I'm at 6 runes, and I can play a Kaisa and still hold up Axe in my hand. Which I deem as valuable enough to just play the Against the Odds. I'm complaining right now about I don't know what I'm supposed to do here because there isn't a good line for me to take here. Against the Odds is like the only reasonable like card basically, and he Punch First me. Fine. That's like honestly the best case scenario. This is the scenario in which he recycles the most runes. So it's fine. Now the game plan is leverage my rune advantage in order to make this game playable. So here my hand is low-key the dream hand. 2 Axes and 2 Kaisas. So I can like maybe play the game. So I can play like Kaisa right now and hold up 2 energy, and then like Axe in like desperation mode if I need to. There's not really a point in accelerating the Kaisa here. I can accelerate the Kaisa onto the dais. It doesn't really do anything because I can like bounce the Kaisa back to hand and create a Sand Soldier, but the Sand Soldier is gonna die next turn to basically all cards in his entire deck. So I'm gonna develop the Kaisa to base, and then next turn I can like maybe play the game. And here, like my opponent gets to draw off Grove, but I don't care too much that he's gonna draw off Grove. because you can only leverage these draws so much based on how many runes you have. My opponent recycled 3 runes last turn, so I can try to leverage this rune advantage to be able to do things here. He walks on the dais, makes a Sand Soldier, and then he does basically the greediest, well, not greediest, the most aggressive line known to man, which is definitely incorrect. What he does here is he rampages the Kaisa, paying the additional cost. So a Sand Soldier goes to a 5, and the Kaisa goes to the Kaisa's a 4. So unless I have exactly Axe in hand, I get cooked. I do have Axe in hand, which cooks him. Now he's dead, basically. Now he's dead. My opponent is untapping the 5 runes, which is not enough to like actually play the game. He has a hidden card, which is always a unit, because all of Rengar's cards are units, meaning that he isn't really able to effectively escape off of Grove without giving me draws. I am going to untap with 8 runes on my next turn. The Sand Soldier is not scoring an additional point because it's dead. And now I'm basically guaranteed to be getting 2 draws. I'm going to get a draw off of Conquering Grove because he's basically forced to have a unit there. And then a draw from Kaisa as well. And then I have 8 energy up. What I'm planning to do is just develop Kaisa, and I can hold the second axe in the hand. And then whatever additional cards I draw from that point on. A very comfortable place to be. Very, very comfortable place to be. By the way my opponent's thinking right now, I know it's a Pike. And he needs to make the decision here if he's supposed to accelerate Pike back to his base or not. He decides not to. I think it's correct not to, because you need to retain your runes in some way, shape, or form. And you might as well retain the Fae Folk. If I were to keep the Pike, or if I were to keep, if he were to keep his units on the points, Gus just kills him. And then I get Vex. So here I have, I'm in like the most comfortable position I could possibly be in this scenario. There isn't a ambush line that like gets him anywhere reasonable. And now I'm holding 1 axe just in case he does something crazy, like plays a big unit, punch first challenge or something like that. Or like punch first the Fae Folk and like walk into the point, or like rampage something and walk into the point to try and trade stuff. And then the Fae Folk's alive, so theoretically if he does some wonky stuff, I can hold axe to be able to protect that. Going into next turn, the plan is I have a million might. So I can, I have a million runes, so I can develop a unit and hold up 2 axes. And my opponent is basically dead. There's essentially no series of draws in which he's able to do anything in this game, because I'm getting a bunch of draws. Drawing off Grove, drawing for turn, walking the Sand Soldier, drawing off of that. I'm at 10 runes, extremely comfortable position here. I draw Rebuke, which is hilarious, because in this situation it's actually very, very good. Because and then I draw the second Vex as well. So here, I get to hold up 6 runes, which can be some combination of Axe Rebuke, or Axe Rebuke, or something like that, right? So I'm able to just do anything I want, and my opponent's dead. So this is like the in order to win this matchup is bad enough to the point in which you need your opponent to misplay. If he were to just develop a 3-might unit into base, like say he, instead of rampaging there, he reveals Pike, accelerates the Pike back to base, walk Fae Folk back to base, play first mate, ready the Sand Soldier, walk the Sand Soldier back to base, I'm dead. There's very few things that I can do to be able to break the board state unless I draw Falling Star. He doesn't even have to accelerate the Pike. He can just leave the Sand Soldier on to die, and then it forces me onto Dais instead of onto Grove, which also sucks for me. So at some point you do need your opponent to misplay. So my opponent develops a bunch of units and then gets the Kaisa up to 8, and I'm asking him, are you crazy enough to run 8 into 8 Kaisa onto the other point? If he does that, I plan to axe the Hopeful. The Hopeful is less valuable than the Vex, so I would rather him kill the Hopeful than kill the Vex. And then if he punch firsts on top of that, I'm going to rebuke the Kaisa. That's the game plan right now, if he wants to do anything. It's like kind of suicide for him to do that. So he's thinking about it though. He's thinking about it. Instead he just passes, and I'm like giga chilling. I'm giga chilling. I scored a 6, I think, off this. Draw from Grove, draw for turn. I can develop a Ferris Forerunner off the top or something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, we pack it up. We pack it up. He's already dead. All right, we got 1 game off the Rengar. Not bad. Not bad at all. I'm telling you, this Grove is good. This Grove is good. So, interesting thing about Grove. It actually kind of mind games your opponent. Like, it asks your opponent if they want to play more aggressively than they maybe should. It kind of gives them the brain bug that asks them to play more aggressively than they should. They want to remove your units, prevent you from getting on Grove. They want to set up on Grove as much as they can. What this did last turn, or last game, was, first of all, walked Feyfolk onto the point, and invested an entire punch first, which is good for me. That in baseline is already pretty bad for me, but it's like, he can still play from this position. Next, he hides the Pike. This is because he wants to stay on the Grove. He wants to stay on the Grove, which is reasonable. I want to stay on the Grove too. But the more you invest these runes, the harder it gets to be able to actually play the game. And then my opponent rampages my Kaisa in a really, really vulnerable position, which he should not be rampaging with Kaisa. And then he loses because he wants to remove my unit. He wants to keep that battlefield safe from me. Retake. So, yeah. Alright, so now I have my Targon's. Targon's going second game, and then he has Seed of Power, and he's going first. This is another one of the times where Targon's is really bad for me. Targon's really bad for me, because now he wants to go on to Targon's first. Really difficult for me here. I stack deck, and I see Kaisa Treasure Enter, and then I just get the Treasure Enter. It's fine. Like, I want to have a turn 1 play. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Here he's going to walk on Sargon's. I already know he's going to walk on Sargon's. And then he's going to probably develop some units behind. And then I need to figure out what I want to do for this position. So he walks onto Targon's. And then he develops Kaisa to base. And he hides a card there, which is pretty bad for me. And he's holding up Thrill. 2 mana up means that he gets access to Thrill, and he also has access to Punch First, which all sucks for me. What am I supposed to do in this position? So there's an aggressive line, and there is a passive line. The aggressive line is try to contest Targon's. What I can do is I can walk Treasure Hunter on and axe to force him to reveal the hidden card, and then I can decide if I want to use second axe or rebuke on the swing back. What does this lose to? This loses to Punch First, and it loses to Thrill the Hunt as well, because if I axe, I go to 7. The minimum might from what he reveals is 4. Pocket Cup is 4 and Pike is 5. So the minimum amount of might that he reveals is 4, and then Kaisa's a 5. If he Thrill the Hunt's Kaisa onto the battlefield. So I decide it's like not quite worth it, so I just do the passive line, which is Kaisa base. I leave the 1 up because I have stack deck in my hands. I like theoretically could stack deck here. I think. I don't know. I let him walk on Seed Power, draw 2 cards. I'm like dead already. I'm like pretty sure I'm dead already. The draw 2 makes it so that the chance that he can start making progress towards clearing my board is like pretty significant. The one benefit in this situation is the hidden card commits him essentially to Targon's Peak. It's kind of like the hidden card committed him to Grove in the previous game. So if I'm able to untap with Kaisa here, I have a very good line where I can walk onto Targon's and then axe, and then hold up Rebuke. And it's like kind of good. Instead, he rampages me, and my Kaisa dies, and I'm like kind of screwed here. I'm like pretty screwed here. I draw the Falling Star, which is nice. There's not like a ton for me to do here. I think, yeah, I'm like mostly dead. I'm mostly dead. Not a ton for me to do. I'm just dead. I walk near, make my gold, and then I pass focus. The reason I pass focus here is because like I don't have a reasonable play in my hand. I don't really have units to develop. But he obviously doesn't want to lose his hidden card for free. Yeah, he just reveals Pocket Cup, and then he's at 5 on the battlefield. What options do I have here? My realistic only options are axe. I need to double axe this treasure hunter here. There's like some things that I can look for in the stack deck, which can theoretically matter, but nothing really matters. I take the against the odds. Problem with the against the odds is it goes 5 to 5, which like kind of sucks for me. So the better play here is just axe the treasure hunter and then hold up the against the odds, because that makes me like I can axe against the odds. I go to 8 might, but then I'm holding as a 4 might. If I axe, I can get to 7 might, and then against the odds makes me bigger. It can get me like 9 or 11 might on the next turn. So kind of the only reasonable play for me to do here is just axe and pray that, you know, I'm able to play the game. Next turn I have I have 4 untapped runes. So if he wants to contest me on this battlefield, I have Rebuke plus against the odds to try and be able to play the game. The biggest problem with this is my opponent's at 4 points. I'm at 1 point. So I need to start developing might onto the board. I have my treasure hunter, which is like okay, but realistically, the path that I need to take for like the plan for the rest of this game. My opponent's at 4. I need to walk my treasure hunter back, hold to 2, walk treasure hunter back, develop units, and then my opponent will go to 6. I will need to walk onto both battlefields, go to 4, and then stop him from scoring for the next 2 turns, essentially. Yeah, that's basically all I can do. So hold to 2, draw for turn. I get 3rd axe, which is like kind of good maybe, but there isn't like a good way for me to develop might onto the board. I take the Vex because it's like a deflect unit, and Vex is like generally pretty decent into the Rengar matchup, but you know, not amazing into the Rengar matchup. The Darius is like kind of interesting because next turn I can walk him on and then kill some stuff, and the Switcheroo is like kind of interesting as well, but I don't really like small unit to make Switcheroo good. The benefit of the Vex here is that I can develop her onto the board and then hold up the axe or the against the odds depending on what actually happens to me here. Yeah. So I walk the treasure hunter back to kind of protect it, and then next turn I can walk onto Targon's to be able to do things. I play the Vex, and I pass to pray. This is a very bad situation to be in. Again, this matchup's pretty difficult. Rengar is able to develop units at might breakpoints that are very awkward for Draven to deal with. Yeah, so mostly just living a prayer right now. So he's gonna draw a million more cards, develop a million more might, and it's really hard for him to do anything here. So he's a Sabomi. Sabo's really bad. My hand is really interactive, aka it has no units and a lot of non-units. So here I'm laughing because of how fucking horrible the sabotage is here for me. So it's third axe, Falling Star Rebuke, and Against the Odds. All cards I wish I could keep in my hands. I was thinking about axing, but axing leaves me pretty vulnerable to most types of interaction. He could do something like Punch Fist Kaisa, walk the Fey Folk onto a point to drag something into it, and then Rampage to kill the last unit. So if I am doing that, then both my units being at 7 or my Treasure Hunter being at 10 doesn't really make a difference either way. So here plays second Sabotage, and again, the idea is kind of the same. I can't really axe here, I'm kind of locked. Because the chance that I lose is really, really high. I lose like most of anything is really, really high. And he kind of takes the line that I more or less expected him to do. Well, maybe not more or less expected, but it's like an aggressive line that's very good. Which is Punch Fist Kaisa, bring Kaisa up to 10 might. And then walk Fey Folk in to try and fucking kill stuff. So there's the funny play where he walks this in, and I'm allowed to play Against the Odds for +4. And my opponent's like, why is it +4? I'm like, the Fey Folk is on the battlefield. So he takes it back. He takes it back. Which is fine. Like, this friendly game's like, I don't really care that much. Like, that play's like objectively wrong. So like, we don't worry about that play. Yeah, so instead he just rampages the Treasure Hunter, I believe. Yeah, so he rampages the Treasure Hunter, and then he walks Fey Folk on, paying deflect for the Vex. Vex walks on. Why did I not kill the Kaisa? I could have killed both units there. Whoops, both units were supposed to die there. Whoops. I forgot that Rampage did damage back. Whoopsie. Yeah, I was supposed to against the. I don't even have to against the odds there. The Kaisa's marked for 7, so she's at 3 HP. Fey Folk's at 1. So Vex is supposed to walk on and kill the Kaisa there. Supposing the Kaisa's dead, I can. Oh, low key, I can actually still play the game here. If he has Thrill of the Hunt, I lose. He's at 7 right now, so if he has Thrill of the Hunt, I lose. So like, all the time. But I can play Tentacles and then Falling Star, 2 of the units, so he's 1 unit left. If he has Thrill or any Accelerate unit, I lose. But he already used 1 Kaisa, so it's like maybe he doesn't have that. But yeah, so I end up losing. Game sucks. I hate this game. But yeah. So there you have it. 2 games of Akali and Rengar for Draven. I think it's important to post losses. So I'm posting this Rengar loss. Again, as I said, this matchup is pretty difficult. Very, very difficult for Draven, but it is like kind of playable. But I definitely think it's like the 60-40 range. Like I think Rengar is actually quite favored in this matchup. Like especially my build without like Radwins and stuff. It's like really, really hard for me to play the game. But yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I do plan on putting another one of these together. I have 2 more games. I have a Draven versus Irelia game, and then I have a Draven versus Jace Aurora game. My battery did die in game 3 of Jace Aurora, but a little bit spoilers. It went to game 3, but I think it's still valuable enough, and then I can talk about the game once the battery runs out. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoy this video and enjoy the next video as well.